again. This is another edition of Musings from the Mountains. Thank you for tuning in. It's Friday. This is episode 13. Some would consider that unlucky. We do not. I'm Keenan Cummings, managing editor for WVSports.com.
And I'm Patrick Kotnik, staff writer for WVSports.com.
Fall camp is over, in the books, done. We're going to talk about a few other things today. We didn't address this last time, which we probably should have. West Virginia added a basketball transfer to the roster. Gabe Usaboyan, I think is how you say it. I'm pretty sure. I have not spoke with him yet, and I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Usaboyan averaged 3.1 points per game, about 3.2 rebounds per game, played about 15 minutes per game at Arkansas. More of a specialty guy, defender type. Talking with the people that covered him at Arkansas, he's not going to be necessarily a guy that you go out and expect to be Steph Curry. He's more defender. You know, he's really good on the defensive side. He gets a lot of deflections. He takes a lot of charges. Actually led Arkansas 2 years in a row in taking charges. So maybe the next Beetle Bolden.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting as well. Deflections, charges. He rebounds the ball well. He's 6'8". Going to cause some matchup problems, especially defensively. You can put him on some different guys. West Virginia had an open scholarship. They could have another one open if Ethan Richardson doesn't make it in, which as of the taping of this podcast, he still had not. But they had an open scholarship. They added him to the team. It's unclear right now if he's going to be eligible. I think he'd have to apply for a waiver if he wanted to play this year. And with how those are going, who knows? I mean, look at the football side. You've got Jared Dagey approved. We're still waiting on Sean Ryan. So at this point, I would say maybe cautiously you could expect him to play, but
Cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously, I guess we'll see. I mean, I think he would. I don't know. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend to know. I have an idea of what's going to happen with the NCAA in these waiver situations. But I do think it makes sense for West Virginia. He's a guy that fits what Bob Huggins wants to do. Talking with the Arkansas guys, he was recruited to play under Mike Anderson's style, which is a lot of defensive intensity, press, you know, that type of deal. So I think he fits in really well. Still could have one scholarship open. I don't think anybody is going to be added that's going to help this year. You know, that deadline's kind of closed. If they do add anybody else with a scholarship, I think it's definitely going to be a transfer guy that sets out and develops, or they could just pocket it for 2020. Right now, if Richardson makes it in, they would have 2 scholarships available. If he does not, they would have 3 for 2020. So that'll be interesting to see how that happens with one commitment already in the fold in Isaiah Cottrell. Football side, flip gears a little bit back to football. Everybody's favorite linebacker, Vandarius Cowan, is going to be suspended for 4 games. Any surprises there for you, Patrick? Or
I mean, I didn't know that for sure until obviously it was reported, but I mean it's not too surprising, I guess, just considering the fact that he wasn't really seeing a whole lot of first team reps. I mean, he was mixing in there definitely, but you kind of got the sense that something maybe wasn't right, or maybe something was, they knew something obviously that we didn't, and that's the vibe I got, because he's someone that obviously is a natural fit for that bandit position. Everyone's wondering why isn't he getting, what's happening with him at practice. So I think the fact that he wasn't getting as many first team reps, and the fact that they were getting Quandarius Qualls more adjusted to that bandit role, says that they knew something that we didn't.
I think they did. I don't think they were shocked by this. I'll go ahead and put that out there. I don't think they were shocked by this at all. While some people might have been, they were not. I think they were preparing for this. I think that's why you saw Jared Bartlett getting reps. It's 4 games. I think if you're gonna set out 4 games on the schedule, that might be the 4 games to do it. James Madison, you go to Missouri, which is not gonna be easy, but still. At home against NC State, and then at Kansas. If West Virginia can come out of that, with getting some quality snaps out of Quandarius Qualls, which has been one of the bright spots of camp on defense for West Virginia, and I think that is aside from the fact that Cowan was suspended. We'll see. I think it's definitely a work in progress. That's the one spot on this defense that when you talk about the transition, West Virginia didn't have a lot of those guys. They don't have very many natural guys there. You have to recruit to that position over time. Jared Bartlett is an example of that. Vandarius Cowan obviously can play that when he returns. Quandarius Qualls fits that role, but they're going to have to find some guys to fill snaps there, because Blake Seiler, the inside linebackers coach, has already said he wants 2 to 3 guys playing there. So make it through 4 games, he'll be back, and then finally we'll get to see Vandarius Cowan on the field, and we won't be talking about where he's at like Waldo. We're going to switch gears here a little bit, do something kind of fun for you guys. Members of our WVSports.com Blue Lot, we ask you for questions. In the future, we're going to ask some Twitter people for questions as well if you enjoy the show, Facebook. But today, we're doing it for our Blue Lot brothers. Pleased, you get the reference, Gooch. You told me to fit you in here, so I did. We're at stage 7. Football season's getting ready to start. Those on the Blue Lot understand what that means. Patrick, go ahead and ask me some questions.
All right, so hot topic this offseason has been offensive line. Obviously, one of the biggest question marks for West Virginia. Keenan, the top 8 offensive linemen. I know Matt Moore said he wants to have 8 guys. Obviously, the 5 starters. He wants to have another guy on the left side, center, another guy on the right side. Who's the top 8?
I'm not identifying where they're going to play, first of all.
Okay.
I think that's still up in the air. I think we'll have a better idea of that next week when we talk to Neil. I think the first 4 are obvious. I don't think, Josh Sills, Colton McKivitz, Kelby Wickline, and Mike Brown. And then you're going to have John Hughes and Chase Barrett in the mix no matter what, regardless of where they play. Adam Stilley has got to be in the mix there. I think he's probably your second center.
Well, yeah, because he wants to have 3 right side guys, 3 left side guys, 2 centers, but he also wants when they travel, he wants 3 total guys who can snap the ball. So you got to think he's going to be in that mix.
Yeah, Stilley's going to be in the mix as your center, regardless if Sills gets that job or Chase. And your last one, I think, has got to be a tackle. If Hughes kicks back out the tackle, that addresses some concern. But I'm going to go Uzebu, Junior Uzebu. I think he has the frame. He can be counted on. Of course, you got Tyler Thurman there as well, which can mix in. And although he's a freshman, I really like the way Brandon Yates looks. I'm not going to depend on him as a freshman, but I think down the road he's a really good player. So that's my 8 right now.
Okay. I would have to go the same way. Definitely I think Gmitter's going to be in the mix there.
Yeah, he will be too.
Yeah, Gmitter is definitely a name, I think. Barrett, no matter what. John Hughes, no matter what. And yeah, Uzebu. Did I say it right?
We'll go with it.
Okay. Uzebu definitely could be in the mix as well. A little off topic here. Who is the better yard mower?
Now, before I answer this question, those of you that are not members of WVSports.com need a little background. There was a period 2 years ago, I believe, it was the class with Maverick Wolfley, 2017. That class where, I kid you not, 5 times in a row, I think it was about 4 or 5 times in a row, every time I went out to do yard work, mow the yard, fix the garden, do something, a commitment happened. So now it's pretty much become slang that if I'm mowing the yard, something good's going to happen. And it does play out that way, surprisingly quite a bit.
We'll always have people on the board asking, hey, Keenan, did you mow your yard? Does that mean a commitment's happening?
And so it's become almost where I actually am just answering an honest question. People think it's some kind of context clue, but this isn't even a debate here. It's me. I don't even think Pat has mowed a yard ever.
Maybe like once or twice my whole lifetime.
Yeah, I live out in the yard. It's me.
Plus, I don't have a yard to mow here.
No, you don't. But I do, and I mow it quite often.
All right, on the topic of commitments, recruiting, Keenan, any idea who the next commitment may be and when that could happen?
I think this is a trick question, and I'm going to bypass it in a sense.
So you're going to dodge it?
No, I'm going to answer it, but I'm not going to answer it the way that I think this is intended. West Virginia has a decision they're waiting on tonight from Branson Taylor. Regardless of who that is, I'm skipping that. I think after that, your next commitment, put me on a spot here, but I feel like it's almost time for Lamy Constant. I do. I really do think it is. He might wait to take an official, but we're at the point in recruiting right now where you're waiting on a couple guys that you really like, and then you're going to start this fall official visit cycle. So you'll bring new guys in, but I think it's going to be either Constant or one of those guys that has already been to campus, has a relationship with the coaches. He'd be my pick. I think if they do get him, that's a home run.
All right. Continuing with recruiting, Keenan, top 3 recruits from Daniel Horverson's tenure that you wish West Virginia would have landed.
2 of them are no-brainers to me. I've said this from the day they committed elsewhere, which unfortunately both of them went to Pittsburgh. Tyler Boyd, the wide receiver, he's now in the NFL with the Cincinnati Bengals. If you played fantasy football, he probably was a sleeper pick for you last year that played pretty well, especially in PPR leagues. He's one for sure. I thought he would have been dynamic in Dana's offense. He came down to West Virginia Pitt. He took that late visit to West Virginia but still ended up staying home. The other one's Jordan Whitehead, same situation. He's a safety. He also is in the NFL now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Really good player. He got into some trouble at Pitt and really never kind of got things in gear, but you can see his talent now that he's at the professional level. Those 2 guys for sure. My third would probably be a variation of some pass rusher. Now, we can go down the offer list and pick out guys, but when you talk about guys that West Virginia was seriously involved with, guys that took official visits, maybe Zadarius Smith, who ended up going to Kentucky. They were involved with Eric Stryker for a while, who went to Oklahoma and terrified West Virginia. Some guys like that. I think the third would have to be a pass rusher for me. Who it is could be several of them.
Now shifting gears from the Daniel Holgerson era to now the Neil Brown era, predictions. I mean, have they changed at all regarding their win total here from fall camp?
I do feel better. I feel better. I feel better about this team.
Where are you thinking though?
I set before the over/under at 5.5. I didn't know if I was over or under. I still don't know if I'm over or under, but I'm almost willing to bump that up to 6. And I know.
So you see anywhere from like 4 to 6, maybe.
I think I had this question asked me the other day. I think optimistically, this team could win 8 or 9 games. That's optimistic.
At the very best.
Scenario.
At the very best. Yeah.
But I also think, given their schedule, given some of the concerns they have, we talked about the offensive line. This team could win 2 or 3 games, and I don't know right now, based off what I've seen.
We won't know. We won't get a better idea until they play James Madison. Until they get the first 2. I would say the first 2 or 3 games we'll have a better idea.
I want to really get an idea about some of these questions we have, such as the offensive line. Is this going to be the year the offensive line really plays consistently?
And no team is ever the same, from the season opener till the series.
No, I do think this is a team that's going to get better.
I that's what I'm emphasizing.
Yeah, I was talking yesterday, and someone asked me about this, and I said they have a lot of young players. Teams have surprised before in these situations. Look at
Auburn.
Yeah, look at 2005 West Virginia. I mean, 2004 was the year they were supposed to be good with all the seniors and everybody coming back, and they kind of fell flat on their face, didn't win the Big East. 2005, they had a bunch of new guys and won the Big East and went to the Sugar Bowl. I'm not saying this is a Sugar Bowl team by any means, but
it's happened to other programs too. Gus Malzahn's first year at Auburn ended up going to national championship. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen here at West Virginia, but I mean, defying the odds, isn't exactly unknown throughout the college football world. I would say a good start for Neil Brown, for West Virginia would be, you win 6-7 games, get this team to a bowl game. I think that's a
home run.
I think that's a tremendous start.
Given what they lost, I think that's a home run.
Mm-hmm. Now, Keenan, another off-topic question: how many plaid button-up shirts do you own?
That's a good question. I was always told if you do something well, you should do it, and obviously I rock a plaid shirt very well. You're paying attention to it, so I must be doing something right.
If anyone's curious, I do have numerous polos. This is a new one. I do have numerous polos.
That is a new one. That looks nice. Look at that key lime green.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So we don't have an exact number?
I don't know. 30? 20? I don't. Who knows?
Now, going back to the football field, Keenan, name on the defensive side of the ball that everybody will know. I can think of one off the bat.
An answer.
Josh Chandler.
Yep, that would have been my. I think that's
Josh Chandler. I feel like that's a home run pick. I don't want to say he's been night and day, but he's just a grinder. He's just a guy that's been working hard throughout the offseason. He did see some playing time last year, mostly on special teams. But Al Pogue saying that when they sit down to eat, as a team, they usually sometimes they have to go find Josh. He's usually sitting in the ice tub reading the playbook. The guy's just been a constant just grinder. He's been working hard. Really has been emphasizing, learning the defense as well as taking care of his body. He's really just done everything right, and it's shown. It's definitely showed. It's definitely led to results on the field.
And consistency is something they talk about all the time. This coaching staff, and he's been probably the most consistent player on defense.
Mm-hmm. Defensive line, set numbers of plays before they rotate. I know Vic Koenig kind of touched on this a little bit.
I asked Jordan Leslie this direct question. I said, if you, in a perfect world, what do you want? He wants to play 9 guys. Obviously, 30, 30, 30. That won't work out that way. There's no way. In college football, there's too many variables. A lot of it's tempo, a lot of it's personnel. Do you trust your guys to put them in the game? He wants 9 guys. I'd say he probably has about 7. They're working toward 9. But it's going to depend, guys. There's no answer here. If you play a team that's going to get in 12 personnel and set on the ball a lot, it's going to be, you're going to have more chances to put guys in. If you're playing Cliff Kingsbury, the old Texas Tech offense, you get up the line, snap the ball, you're not going to have as much. So I think that Some of it's going to depend on what guys can handle. You know, you want guys to be effective, so you don't want guys playing 9, 10, 11 snaps in a row. So a lot of it's going to be rotating as the game is going, and by the end, you'll be able to see the snap counts. And if you are a member of WVSports.com, we do snap counts each week, tally for each position, and kind of give you an idea of where they stand.
Well, there are a couple of freshmen that will be playing on the defensive line, which leads us to our next question. Which freshman will contribute the most on offense and defense?
I think defense is easy. It's going to be in the secondary. It's either Tyke Smith, Nick Troy Fortune, Tay Mayo,
Kerry
Martin, one of those guys. The defensive linemen are going to play.
Jefferson.
Yeah, so I think that's easy. Offensively is more of a challenge. I'd say Winston Wright, but that's more of a guess than it is.
You could say Winston Wright. I think Ollie Jennings has a shot too, has a fair chance.
Yeah, receivers have a chance here, especially if guys get banged up, because they're going to have to play several of them. My guess would be Winston Wright right now, but I reserve the right to change that opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I would say Winston Wright, Ollie Jennings has a chance. Defense, definitely, I feel like in the secondary, Tyke Smith, the guys we already mentioned. Talking about the receiving core a little bit, what's going on with TJ Simmons? This next question.
I mean, there hasn't been a lot of talk about TJ because he's doing what he's supposed to do. A lot of this camp discussion is centered around guys that people are curious about. Newcomers, quarterback battles, position battles. TJ's the one constant, that West Virginia had carry over from the year before at wide receiver.
Most experience.
Yeah, he brings back most of your receptions, most of your yards. He's a versatile guy. They moved him around. He can play outside. He can play inside. Now that they've got some better guys on the outside, they've been able to play him more inside, which is more of his natural role. I think he's going to have a good year. I mean, he's got a great connection with Austin Kendall. You saw that in the spring game. Caught his first touchdown pass that Kendall threw as a Mountaineer. So I don't think anything's going on with TJ, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, I think he's doing what he's expected to do.
Now, shifting from the receiving core to the secondary, Keenan, confidence level that you have in the secondary. Now, we're going to see some young guys in there, Tyke Smith, Nick Troy Fortune, Tay Mayo, some of the guys we already mentioned. What is your confidence level in the secondary?
Surprisingly higher than I expected it to be. I think bringing Josh Norwood over really kind of balanced some things out there. There's some concern. I think Sean Mahone's going to have to play well if he is the guy at that other safety spot. Those freshmen are going to have to play well, but it's the Big 12, guys. You got to throw guys in the fire. It's not anything groundbreaking. People have had to play true freshmen before. West Virginia's done it before, and rather recently. Look at guys like Carl Joseph, KJ Dillon, Trayvon Henry.
And you need guys to step up. I mean, that's
college football.
This is the adversity you face after losing Kenny Robinson. During Pitts as well. This is what happens.
If you would ask me in the spring how I felt, I would have said disaster. But after watching some practices and talking to people,
there's a lot to like.
I feel better than I thought I would.
There's a lot to like there. Now shifting to recruiting here, Keenan, what is the latest on West Virginia commitment Quay Mays, JUCO guy?
Well, West Virginia's in a good spot still. He has a great relationship with the coaches. I know that he visited Oklahoma, which caused some panic. Unheard of on Blue Line, I know, but caused some panic. But right now, Oklahoma's still kind of weighing where they're at with him and where he's at with them. I think that the good news is, he does have a great relationship with West Virginia. There's some people in his corner that would like to see him at West Virginia. So we'll see how it goes. He's a guy that I've always felt was going to take some visits, regardless whether you're committed or not. The challenge for West Virginia is you got to hold on to him. This is big boy recruiting. If you got guys that other people want, you're doing something right.
Now, how many more D linemen will they take in this class? Is he it, or can we expect maybe 1 or 2 more D linemen?
Definitely more. Probably 3 to 4 more. 3 to 4 more. All said and done.
All right, final question here. It's time to answer the age-old question. Keenan, do you really not like tacos?
Okay, I'll answer this by asking you, have you ever seen me eat one? No,
unfortunately.
Because no one has. I do not like tacos. No, I never have.
Why?
I don't understand. I'm going to level with you guys. How come when someone doesn't like pizza or someone doesn't like a hamburger or something, everyone's fine with that, but a guy says he doesn't like tacos and come on. I like you guys, though. Thanks for tuning in. This has been another edition of Musings for the Mountains. I do recommend, if you enjoyed this, we're going to do some more of these Q&A things. Have a little more fun with it, not as business-like. Give us a subscribe on the YouTube channel. Also, take advantage of our promo. It's still going. You can get $75 worth of gear for 15 months at $25 off the normal price.
It's a great deal.
That is a great
Tremendous deal.
Thank you for all those that have taken advantage of it already.
Much appreciated.
And tune in again. We'll be back soon with some more coming up. West Virginia season opener is a week away, and football's almost back, guys.